Giving it a minute before we start. Excited to have you join me on this live. Is it afternoon or evening? It's 6. Let's call it evening. Okay. Just getting ready. Awesome. Giving it a minute, then we're gonna get into it. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me this evening. And we are just kicking off a series where we come together as entrepreneurs and we talk around business, leadership, owning a business, what works, what doesn't. And this space is about sharing collective wisdom as ourselves, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as we are on the ground, we are building our businesses and we are at different stages of growth. So we're here to just chat. So please join me. I'll be checking the comments to see if there are any questions, if there are any insights that are coming in. The team and I are looking for different ways of how to make these sessions interactive because we really do want to make it interactive and a conversation so that we are growing each other with collective wisdom. So today, what are we going to talk about? So the question that I want us to kick off with is it really worth it to go into business? We hear a lot about business that, business this, to say you can make a lot of money in business, you can get successful in business. And we've had people who've tried it and they're like, it knocked me so bad. So the question I really want to ask today is business worth it? So give me your thoughts, drop your thoughts on the chat, and let's see what everybody says in terms of what you found worth it and what you haven't found worth it. So let me just talk around what I think, right? So my personal reflections on this is that we often do people a disservice when we are talking as entrepreneurs, where we are on social media, where we are only showing wins and how things are working, to be like, oh, shoot, this is what happened. This is the clients I'm working with. And we know why we do that. We do it because we are promoting ourselves. We're promoting our business. And I normally tell other entrepreneurs when I'm coaching and mentoring to say, it sounds better if I say it in Zulu. If no one is coming to Sheila and say, hey, these are my flaws. The reason you're posting on socials is to show your good side. It's for you to attract the right people, your next deal, your next partner. So you always going to show the good side of business. So that's what happens. So no entrepreneur is going to go online and be like, yo, my business sucks. And be like, yo, guys, I am struggling with salaries. A lot of us struggle every month and to see how we're going to make things ends meet, but we're not going to post it on social media. Why would I post it? Because if I start posting to be like, guys, the bills are not coming together, I'm telling my staff that this business is not stable and people are going to run away. So the first thing I just want to share is that not all that glitters is gold. And we have, I say we because I'm also posting on socials, is that when we are posting, we do show a one-sidedness of business. So hence, I want to put it out there to and question, is business really worth it? So continuing the train of thought is that business for me is worth it when you put in the work. Sometimes when we are out there in media, when we're doing interviews, where we are on socials, we make it seem easier than it is. Business is difficult and you are going to have to put in the work. So let me share some stages of doing business. I like making an analogy of farming when it comes to doing business. The premise I'm going with is that business only works when you put in the work. And this is true at every stage, but at every stage, it gets different. So the first stage is you're the founder, you're starting something from scratch. So it's either you're starting something that's been done before. Let's say you're building like a shop. How many shops have you seen in your life? You go to a mall, you're seeing a shop, or maybe you're starting a clothing brand. How many brands are there so in the world? So you're putting it together. So you're starting it, or you're starting a startup. You're implementing an idea that hasn't been implemented before. So I like to throw in venue app there where you're just like, okay, I'm creating an Uber Eats for the events context. That's something new. It's something novel. So stage one, you're the generalist, and tag, you're it. If you're starting a business from the beginning, you are everything. You're the innovator, you're the salesperson, you're the delivery guy, you're the IT guy, you're the marketing guy. You need to do all the functions in the business. And guess what? It is stressful, it is straining, and it takes a lot of time. But depending on the background you come from and the support that you have, because if you're coming in with capital, yes, you can come in with people you've worked with before. You can hire agencies that can work with you. But a lot of us starting out, we are our capital, we are our resources, and we are everything. So you are not alone if you are in the stage of doing everything. And thinking about it, having gone through many of these stages, it does help for you to know every area and every factor of your business. So even now, even though I do have a team who takes care of some of the functions, there are times when they come to me and they're like, ABC, we're struggling to do this, or things won't work like this. And I'm just like, no, I've done this before. I know that this is how it should work. And then I start giving direction for that department or for that action. Because why? I've been there. I've been the one trying to do the socials. I've been at events and have actually delivered. I've been a technician. I've been the one coding. So you're not alone if you're still at the first stage of doing business, where you are the generalist, you are the only person. And the question is it worth it? And I'll come back to the farming analogy that I kicked off with, to say, when you're building a business, some businesses are like vegetables. Let's take a tomato. Maybe I should have researched this. Maybe you can help me in the chat how long it takes for a tomato to grow. But tomato is easy vegetable. You plant it in a matter of weeks or a month, you can harvest it. And then you harvest it, it grows back, you harvest. Same with spinach, it's a vegetable. So vegetables have a faster cycle. And what am I trying to say with that? To say some things you plant now and you can harvest now. So you can do some deals. And these are like some delivery deals where you are delivering, you're the middleman for an RFQ or a tender or for a direct client, where they ask to say, hey, for this, we need a contract to take to transport our staff for this event, and you just organize the transport. The deal happens, the company pays you, you pay the other person, you come back with change. It's a vegetable, easy money, and it keeps. And you keep needing to put in the work day after day, week after week, just grabbing the money that comes through. It's the same that happens even when you need to deliver equipment, where let's say a mine is looking for a particular resource. You go to your supplier, you pick it up, put in the capital, and deliver. When you've delivered, the mine pays you, you take in the cash. So for me, I view that as a vegetable. But what happens is you are constantly having to do that work, and there's no grounded assets you're building. You're just taking the change. And believe me, nothing wrong with that. It is what it is, and it makes the money. So let's go into the other example of farming is when you're planting a tree. If you're planting an apple tree or an orange tree, it takes time for the tree to grow. Firstly, you plant the tree, you're watering the tree, you're preparing the ground. The tree is growing big, 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 but it often takes years before you can eat the fruit. And once you eat it, once the tree starts bearing fruit, the cool thing is the bigger the tree, the stronger the tree, the more fruit it just bears without you having to do anything substantial. Yes, you'll till the ground. Yes, you'll make sure that the bugs and birds. Have you seen how birds eat fruit? And you're just like, but why are you eating all the fruits? Just eat one. But what I'm saying is that look at these two examples. If it's a vegetable, it's fast. Like every week, no, not every week, every couple of weeks or months, you're harvesting. But a fruit tree, you can wait for years before that tree starts bearing fruit. And when it bears the fruit, you're just like, cool, this is awesome. And then you start eating the fruit with not as much intense labor than when it's a vegetable. So I am still there to be like, where are you in your stage of business? Are you at the stage when you are doing things yourself? And it's normal, it's part of business. As you are doing things yourself, get to know your business intimately so that when it's the time for it to grow, you you know how it works, and you can guide your team into business. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just check the comments. Namonde is saying, I love my business, but it's really not easy. I'm never going to give up though. And then we've got Unoktula saying, I'm in music business, gospel artist, it is hard. Yeah, I agree totally with that. Namonde, also totally love my business. Would I give it up? No. And Noktula, I agree, right? I'm in the events business, but I'm in production. Production, guys, I come in when the artist and the management team have said we're hosting a concert and now they need to pay me. Sometimes I look at my own invoice and I'm like, if they need to pay me so much money just to put up a stage screen and sound, and they still need to pay for artists, they still need to pay for venue, they still need to pay for ABC, where does the money come from? So Noktula, totally with you on that one. And maybe in one of the sessions we can just talk about the music industry. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we've spoken about the first stage of business, and that's when you are the generalist. So as you do business, as you're getting the deals and as you're delivering, you tend to get so many things to do, and you get help. You get people to help you in your business. If you are doing catering, you're the master chef, because normally catering businesses are started by people who can cook, and then they start bringing people to help them with the actual cooking and with the actual dishing at events, also transporting the food. So this is now when you're moving into the second stage of business, where you're getting different people to actually help you with the business. And in this stage, you are less fussy about who helps you, and you are just excited with there's someone to help. And there are different things in the stage that you must look out for. I have a different video, you can check it out on my YouTube channel, where I talk about different ideas and different ways of getting people to help you in your business when you don't have the money to pay them. So I think it's a pretty cool video and very helpful, but you can go check it out on my YouTube channel. So at that stage, you're excited. You will take any help that you can get. So at that stage, it's important that you prepare and think about the long game, because you at that stage, what I've seen happen and that what I've done myself is that I just bring in people, they're helping, there are no clear guidelines. Sibona ngendlela, guys, nathi sibona na ukuthi wenza nsiza, and it works to a point when people start messing up and they start making small but expensive mistakes, and those mistakes are because they don't have clear guidance. And that I'd like to challenge you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is even though it's difficult, even though you're trying to juggle many things, you need to think of the growth and where you want to take your business, and have things like standard operating procedures where you have something documented, or like videos, or some way of training people who come in. Because with the first 2-3 people, okay, let's say 2, because the three it gets complicated. It's somehow easy. You're all together, and then now you're trusting other people to train or just see how things work. And something that's resonated with me, because I'm quite a reader, I will totally challenge and exhort and encourage you. If you're in business, please, please, please be a reader, even if it's not a physical book, even if you prefer YouTube videos, if you prefer podcasts, if you prefer audiobooks like myself, be a reader. There's so much information out there, people who can share it with you. And one of the books that totally transformed how I do business as an entrepreneur was the book, The E-Myth by, is it Michael E. Gerber, where he talks about, especially in the stage of building, where we delegate by abdication, where we are lucky at one time, where we get somebody who's good in our business, who we vibe with, and we trust everything to them. And the day that person leaves the company for whatever good reason, I'm always a fan of people leaving to take their life to their next level, because I believe that I've been a blessing to them at that stage of their lives, and now they are going on to the next level. But when that person leaves, you're screwed. That's just the plain language of putting it, because in that delegation, you weren't part of the process. You just trusted that they made everything work. So I've been in that situation myself. So I'm encouraging you that when you're bringing in people on board, please document how things are done. If you've got somebody good who does something, please help them and encourage them and document that they record. Even if sometimes we think documentation is writing, but people also don't read videos. Okay, this is how we do this. It helps you when you're expanding your team, so that you've got something written, something to refer to, and that when your employees leave, you're not stranded. So that's another a second stage of business, where you're just bringing in people. They're helping you. The cool thing about when people help you is that you're able to do more. And as the founder, as the business owner, you don't have to be as involved in every decision, in every deal. But then at that stage, you also need to impart your thinking. And I'll encourage you, is that there was a stage in my business where I was growing. And as I've told you, I'm in the events business. I'm a pretty dope technician. I'm good. Like, if you look at any production, I will set everything up. People marvel. I'm like, do you know every cable? Yes, I know every cable. I know how things work. I can debug. I can fix things. But there was a time when I was growing, especially to bring people in, where I had to hold myself back. Because when you're also trying to save as an entrepreneur, to be like, well, should I really pay someone to do something that I can do myself, and I eat that money? Let's just use 2,000 as an example, to say you can pay somebody 2,000 to do the job or do it yourself. And I came to a realization that I drew a line and I was practical. I also told it to my management team to say, okay, I'm from corporate. Did I say management team? There was two of us, but it was still a management team nonetheless. So be like, let's draw a line in the sand and say, if I'm at an event and actually doing something at an event, I'm killing the business. And that's been a mind frame that I've grown, and it has helped me grow my team. It has helped me grow my pool of freelancers, and it has helped me to be able to do more events than the business just being reliant on me. So I'm just encouraging you the saying that this is also a mindset that you can adopt for yourself, to say sometimes you can do the job yourself. You will save money, but we're thinking long term. We're thinking long game. We are thinking of growing the tree as opposed to planting vegetables. And you need to grow your team, grow them to mature that these things, these jobs can be delivered. Your clients can be serviced without you being on site. So that is stage 2, where you have people coming in to help you, the team grows, but everybody is a generalist. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to stage 3. And just something about these stages, they're not linear. And our memezi, they don't shout when you are saying like, okay, now we've moved from stage 1 to stage 2. They build on each other. So now that we're reaching stage 3. So stage 3, you've got these generalists. Now you see that I need specialists. I need people who specialize. So now, instead of hiring anyone or bringing anyone into the team, you are now picky to say, I need somebody with a marketing expertise. I think we are doing well, but no one knows that we're doing well. We need somebody who's going to position our business and help us market. Or you say, yeah, we're getting inquiries, but we're not quite landing them. I need somebody who is good at sales. So now I need somebody who's going to help us with sales. Or you say, hey, I need somebody who's good at finance. Let's get somebody to help us with our finances. Or you're just like, okay, I have these businesses or these deals going, but I need someone strong technically, or I need a strong project manager. So this is now when you are looking for different people depending on the burning need that you have, and you start looking for specialization. So that's part the fourth stage of business. And something that happens with all these stages of business as you're growing, responsibility also grows. As I've said, like if you're hiring people, you know that you have a different responsibility of salary band. You know whether it rains or it does not rain. You need to make sure rent is there. If you're renting, if you've bought your premises, your bond is there. At that stage, you'll have certain subscriptions, banking fees, they are there. And we don't play with salaries. We save for salaries. Imagine now if you're working, I work for a bank right now. Hey, if the bank would come to me and say, hey, TMB, hey, now we are born this month, the customers didn't transact, the customers were defaulting on their loans and they didn't pay, so we can't pay you your salary. I'd be like, Chineke, guys, you can't do this to me. I've got bills, I've got a bond, I've got a car, I've got kids. So also as business people, it's something that we must get into the habit of, is with these, as our businesses grow, the demands grow, the responsibilities grow. So we need to get into the habit of saving for the different areas. So I was just passing there. It's something that I'm just thinking about to say. As these responsibilities grow, you need to be prepared as a business owner. And as you start growing the functions of the business, especially when you start getting specialized people, also the financial responsibility of keeping these skilled guys grows. So this is a level that a lot of entrepreneurs do struggle with, but it opens up a different dynamic of growth. So this is third level. You've got specialists, and when these specialists come, I really like what Alex Homozy says, that when you're growing, you don't know what you don't know, but there are people who are skilled, who will open up so many doors that you thought were not possible. A lot of us as entrepreneurs struggle with sales. Let's put it straight up. We struggle with sales, we struggle with cash flow. But when you get the right partnerships, the right people who can guide you in your industry, sometimes you don't need to get it in it alone. If you've got trustworthy people, you can do the deal together. They can unlock so much. So I do wish that for each and every one of us, that we can get to a stage of partnering, coming together with people who are specialists and can help us grow our business. And a concept I learned in the previous year, 2025, was a fractional anything. There was fractional CFO, fractional CTO, fractional anything. And literally, it's a fancy way of saying that you don't have to hire these specialized people full time. You can hire them on a not like a contractual basis, where you pay them to just do the job for you, and instead of paying like a full salary, you're just paying a fraction of it. So it is a cool way of saying fractional anything. And even in the startup world, we're hearing about fractional lawyers or fractional legal team. So as entrepreneurs, we always struggle with the money, because everything we think of, we're just like, where's the money going to come from? So another idea is fractional anything. And a lot of people are offering their services at a fraction. And when your business grows, it can enter the fourth stage. And a lot of us sadly don't enter the stage where we've got fully fledged departments. You've got the head of technical who delivers. You have the head of marketing who delivers. You have the head of sales, head of warehousing, whatever your business is. If you're dealing with international clients or international suppliers, you have a head of international relations, and you've got multiple employees working at that department. And what you do now as a founder, you've got management sessions, whether you call them management committee, exco, or any fancy corporate, where all these leaders meet on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly, on a monthly basis. They go into what's happening for their departments. You're going into reports, be like, okay, we're doing well here, we're not doing well here. And this is a foreign concept to many of us as startup entrepreneurs and startup business owners. But this is where the big corporates are playing. That's the space. And these guys are making lots of money. And everybody is skilled. Everybody is running their departments. Some of these department heads do well and shoot out. And some of them are not doing so well. And you need to crack the whip and fire them or change them or coach. But that's the type of growth mentality that we need to get to. So that's the fourth stage. And a lot of us don't get there. A lot of us get stuck in stage one, stage two, and never even transition to stage three. So what am I trying to say? Because the question that that I set out to answer is business really worth it? And I just want to share my heart in this, especially as Black people. You hear me talk as Black people, because most of the people I talk, coach, and mentor are Black, and I myself am a Black woman. So I really like directing this and just being blank upfront with it, just to say most of us grew up in the townships. We've seen Ubab Mangman have a shop. We've seen Umam Banban have a bakery. We've seen different people have businesses in our communities, but we've never seen these businesses grow into chains. Like I'll make an example with any of these big chains that we deal with or we know. Like Pick and Pay started as a humble single shop. We'll talk about Pep that also started as a shop. Woolworths, you can name them. They started small and they started expanding. Now they're big giants. They're like in the fourth stage that I mentioned now. But a lot of our Black businesses struggle to stay alive when the owner dies or when the owner is tired. There's no that longevity that comes. And I've intentionally named the series The Long Game to say, as entrepreneurs, how can we think differently? How can we think more than survival? How can we think of building something that is outside of ourselves and will outlive us? So I'm encouraging you now as a business owner, even though you will start small, most probably, and maybe you're still small, think and just have that prayer in your heart to be like, God, how do I do this? Like, pick anything. Sis Noktula, you're in the music industry. I can think about Sony. Like, where did Sony start? Sony is now a big label, a big house managing big artists. But the question is, where did they start? And how have they grown and transitioned stage one, where everything is based on the owner? Stage two, when they're generalists helping. Stage three, where they now have specialists. And stage four, where they're fully fledged departments. Somebody said that success leaves clues. And as entrepreneurs, we need to look at those clues and think of ourselves and actually believe that this will happen for us as we grow. So this is just a personal challenge to me as business owners, whichever background you come from, or whatever race or whatever country you're in, to say, how do I make my business grow beyond me so that I'm not the bottleneck of my business, that deals happen, things grow, that money is coming in. And trying to think who said this, to say that real wealth is when money is coming in when you're sleeping, right? Because in the first two stages, we're hustling, guys. Every dollar, every my dollar, every rand that you're getting, like you are part of that. You're part of the thinking. So this is the thing that I just want us to cultivate, to be like, for us to be truly wealthy, money must happen whilst we're sleeping. I'm thinking of like the shareholders of these big Silicon Valley companies. They're sleeping whilst we're slaving away. I'm even thinking of the shareholders of the bank I work for. They make thousands, millions out of my labor, and they're sleeping. Their money is working for them. They've put in that management team and they're pushing. So, guys, let's think about that in as we go through it. So, back to the question, because I like answering. So, is business really worth it? Before I go into that, please drop your thoughts in the comments to say, is business really worth it? So let me just check the comments to see what's up. Noktula is saying, I'm really enjoying this discussion. The timing is a bit challenging for me since it happens while I'm coming back from work. Could we continue in the morning, say 7 a.m. or 7:30? Okay, Noktula, I'll consider that, and I'll have a chat with the team around the timing. Let's just check if there's something on TikTok. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Artbook, we see you. Melo, thanks for joining. We've got a couple of people on TikTok as well. No comments. Coming back to Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, so thanks, Namande, thanks, Tula. I see you and everybody else who's on the call. So, back to the question, is business really worth it? And I'll answer it with, it is worth it if you put in the work and you do things right. And if you're expecting things to just work, if you are expecting a get rich quick scheme, it's definitely not worth it, and it's definitely not gonna work. And business is tough. If anybody tells you this is an easy business, it happens in your sleep, I call it onto amang. If you are building a business, you have to be there. The only time where business can happen in your sleep is if you are an investor. We hear a lot about the JSE stock exchange, people buying shares. That's when you're putting in your money and you're trusting the management team of that company to do the things and grow your money. That's why you hear the share has plummeted or the share is doing really well. But then those people are investors. They're not business owners. They're not entrepreneurs. They're just investors in that business. And they are trusting other people to ensure that their investments work. So what I'm saying there, I'm just saying that business only works if you put in the work. If somebody is selling you anything, if somebody tells you that this business just works without you doing any work, yeah, hamba imali yako. Business doesn't work like that. So how do we make business worth it? We make business worth it by doing the work, and we make business worth it by learning. I've already encouraged you guys to be readers and be in community with other business people. I can't tell you how much other business people have helped me. And a simple example, just from last year, we're building Venue app. We're at events and we're promoting and we are trying to grow our socials. And I was with Leo, the founder of Fast Flow, which is a ticketing system. And I was talking to customers at events and asking them to, hey, please follow us on Instagram, and saying, okay, our handle is, and Leo is just like, hey, there's an easier way to do this. QR code. When you get to the customer, show them the QR code, and then they find your profile quickly. Imagine how many more people I got because of this. And something else that has happened in my journey, that I have received so much help from people who are in the same industry as me. People who are like, I remember when I bought my first screen, like it was a supplier slash competitor, if you may, because I was buying the same equipment he has. And normally he goes to China, he flies to China, he's got the money, and then he'll pick the right quality product and ship it to South Africa and use it. And I asked him, and he was like, okay, cool. This is my supplier name. He gave me all the details. That saved me about 60 to 80,000, which I did not have at that stage. So when you are in business, get into community with other business people who will tell you what has worked for them, who will tell you what doesn't work, and you can use these lessons. Another lesson I can think of in my events business is with one of my other suppliers, because like how I grew is like, I take any gig, anything, yonki inteletimali. And he was just like, whoa, Tim, you're still young in the game. Think about this. You are in the events business, right? Why do you reject clients? Because you're so excited about last minute clients. He's just like, last minute clients can be people who had a supplier and were missing that supplier around, and that supplier decided to cut them. Or maybe they disagreed on a rate, or somebody cheated someone. But when, as a person as a supplier, how many clients do you drop? And I was just like, no, I don't drop any clients. And it was just like, exactly. So why do you believe other people who will just call you 10 minutes before the event and say, our supplier has dropped us? That supplier must have had a reason to drop them. And I was just like, wow, that's profound. And I have found a pattern to say last minute clients may be problematic. Not always, but it's just those mentorship conversations that you have with other entrepreneurs. So business, you're not an island. And sometimes you'll struggle. Hey, sometimes you'll feel like, am I doing this right? Am I going to succeed? Is this okay? And that's when the community comes in. Someone is going to share what's happening in their life, and then you're going to be like, "Yo, that's not I'm not alone. This is how I can do better and grow." And also, when you are in community with other entrepreneurs, please share, because we are all in this together. I'm a big LinkedIn user, and I'm trying to think of the lady. I forget her name. I need to memorize people's names better. And she shared a quote to say, "When you blow out someone's candle, it doesn't make your candle shine brighter." And I'm a strong believer in, if all of us shine bright, the world will be a better place, so that we're not putting each other down and we are helping each other as entrepreneurs and business owners. So, oh yeah, the Japanese saying says, when the tide rises, all the boats rise. So if you do better, my sister, you do better, my brother, South Africa and the international community benefits. So, big believer in us helping each other and growing each other as entrepreneurs. Okay, I'm gonna go to the comments. Paul Mashaba says, "I love my creativity more when I able to create business from it, but in reality, it is a bit of sweat journey at times." uh, True, Paul. And AI is not making it easier for creatives. I saw an interesting article. It was a headline to say, "Well, can AI actually win the Grammys?" I was just like, "Oh, that's an interesting thing." And also, we've got about Canva, we've got about ChatGPT, Grok, killing things. So, in the creativity space, my thoughts is, as challenging as it is, I think people will be looking for that creative expression, and that taking away of the weight, where someone can just give a brief, you come in with it, and getting the willingness to pay. And I know with small businesses, with wanting nice things from creatives and not paying. And the challenge is, guys, as much as we love and want to get paid, let us support our creative brothers and sisters. I don't even like the word support for business. Let us engage and contract our brothers and sisters in the creative space. So I'm gonna go to TikTok to check what's happening there. Okay, nothing in the live chats. So I'm gonna end off with a question asking, is business worth it? What's your take in business being worth it? Gonna keep my eye on the chat. And as I close off, thank you very much for joining the first edition of The Long Game. Looking forward to keeping the long game very long. And I look forward to bringing in different guests, whether virtual or in studio. I look forward to your guys' comments. What would you like to talk about next week, the week after? Is there anything that you want us to do? We are thinking and planning with a different team to say, can we have like a live audience, even if it's virtually, so we are actually having conversations in the long game? Because what I really would like the series to be, I'd like us to be sharing collective wisdom with each other, helping each other to grow. Because if we are all winning in this business thing, the world, South Africa, will be a better place. So back to comments. No comments are around what you guys are thinking in terms of is business really worth it? My short answer is yes, it's worth it if you put in the work. Do not let anyone deceive you with saying that it's easy. Just do 1, 2, 3. Buy this package for 5,000 and it just works. Whatever business you're in, whether you're selling products, whether you're selling for forever, You have to work, whether it's network marketing, you have to work. And I know a lot of my brothers and sisters sell network products where you sell a product and then you build a team. It is work. Nothing is for mahala. So Noxula says virtual conversations fully supported. Okay, we'll check in with the team how we do it, and then we'll see if we can revise the time with the team. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it. I've committed to an hour. We got to 45 minutes. I guess when we have virtual conversations, we can hit the hour. But I'm also not a fan of just using the time for the sake of time. I've shared what I've had in my heart. I really want to thank everybody who joined the call. And I also want to thank everybody who has taken the time to comment. So looking forward to you guys commenting what you'd like to chat about in the following episodes. And I'm looking forward to the stories of success, the stories of hardship, the stories of what you want to achieve in 2026 and what you have achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the long game. And I just want to say thank you and peace as we are about to drop off. Noktula says it is worth it, considering that companies are now retrenching. Yeah. So thank you, Noktula, for that comment. And yes, guys, keep building. I encourage, as I've said, I'm fully employed with a bank, but I'm encouraging my staff to say, and it doesn't have to be a business, but have something. People say on about TikTok, in this Cyril economy, you can't just have one stream of income. So whatever your stream is, I'm a big fan of imqasho, rental properties, and all those things. We can get into the practicalities of those businesses, but in this Cyril economy, have something. It doesn't have to be a full-time business where you're working it. Rentals are an example. But now it's work, guys. It's work managing tenants. I've done a business like we do have a business like that. And now you're chasing people for money. It's also work, but slightly less than a fully fledged business. But yeah, I have signed out and I've said peace. Thank you very much for joining. And I'll see you next Thursday in this long game. Peace.